everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you today. My name is Heyman. Let's see if I can do this. Haha. That's me, right up there. I am the founder of Coco Market. If you were here last month, you heard Stephanie speak, and what I heard from her share is, I think the first thing she said, "Thank you for my perfect life." And for the past month, I have been using that in my meditation, in my reflection, every day. So I just wanted to start with that because I think that it really resonates with the theme that I'm going to be speaking on this morning. Hers was ritual, which is kind of similar, and we'll get there. Thank you for my perfect life. I got here today and it said, "You're exactly where you're supposed to be." And that's also like a big part of my talk today. So I'm feeling like, I'm feeling exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm just so grateful to be here. I have been very nervous for a while leading up to this talk. I do a lot of public speaking, but for some reason this felt bigger and more powerful and more important, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I asked my Instagram following for some tips on public speaking, and community is powerful, right? I got a lot of really, really good tips. One of them was eat a banana, and for some reason that one really stuck in my mind. And I'm walking here this morning, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot the banana. Like I'm blowing it. And I walked in and there were bananas here. So I did eat my banana. It's going really well so far. Another one was to practice, and to absolutely nail your intro. I practiced a lot. I'm already going off book. I did not plan to say any of that. Another one was to bring sock puppets, and when I walked in, the man who suggested that said, "Where are your sock puppets?" So, all right, we'll get into it. Also, thank you, Lauren. That was beautiful. I want every scary, important thing I have to do to start with that. Who has heard of Coco Market and been to Coco Market? Please raise your hand. Okay, I apologize. I'm going to explain to you what Coco Market is. I think that words don't do it justice, and a lot of you have experienced the feeling and the palpable energy that comes off of it, so I apologize for this next slide. But for those of you who don't know what Coco Market is, it is a monthly wellness event, a wellness festival, and it is my greatest accomplishment in my life. I am so immensely proud to introduce myself as the founder of Coco Market because I am in awe every day of what we've created and what I created first, and then everyone helped me to create. So we meet on the first Sunday of every single month right here at Old School Square. Shout out to the DDA. I love you guys. And we gather for connection. I won't read you this whole thing, but we bring local vendors together to promote themselves, to share their passions. All these entrepreneurs are gathering around to showcase what they do. And at the same time, we are leading yoga, sound bath, like you just experienced, and all kinds of free activities. It's always free to the public. You are always welcome to come exactly as you are and showcase exactly who you are. I am so proud to say that it's a space where you can come and feel welcome and feel like you can be yourself. Like Jenny said, it's become the glue. That's a cool thing. I like to think of it as like a local staple. I didn't tell you anything about myself. That was my plan. So before I continue, I am the founder of Coco Market, and that is how I plan to introduce myself to you today, but I also am a yoga teacher, I'm a New Yorker. I am a woman in recovery. I am a bookworm. I am a sunrise enthusiast. I am an entrepreneur. That's a little bit about me. When I think of Coco Market, I think of some of the pivotal moments through the past 2.5 years. It started in January 2022, and hopefully this video is not too distracting, but I wanted to give you a little bit of the vibe. It's 3 minutes. It might just restart if I keep talking, but Coco Market has become a local staple, and I have met, I think, 4 people who have literally moved to Delray Beach because of the community that they have found at Coco Market. How cool? How cool is that? 4 people. I know people who have fallen in love at Coco Market. My business partner, John, he's back there standing. Hi, John. Good morning. He met his girlfriend, Daniela, almost 2.5 years ago at Coco Market. They're still together, they're in love. That's cool. I know a few other couples who have met at Coco Market. I met somebody on the first ever Coco Market who ran up to me and said, how can I get involved in this? And at the time, I didn't have room for volunteers. I didn't know what I was doing. And I said, do you have a business? And she said, no. And I said, let me know when you have a business. And the next month she came and she applied to Coco Market and she created a business because she wanted to be part of Coco Market. And that's so cool. She just wanted kind of a slice of what we do, you know? Her name's Darcy. She has a business, I think the name was Swedish. It's called like Voxthus. I don't know. But she would create plant cuttings. She was a gardener from all her beautiful plants, and she would put crystals around them. And it was really a beautiful business that created because she wanted to join the family. I have seen numerous business collaborations. A lot of our vendors have found local stores to be in, and their businesses have started booming. I have seen friendships rekindled. My very good friend Shelby re-met her middle school best friend Luis. She hadn't seen him in years, and he was there doing the sound bath, and she was like, Luis? And he was like, Shelby? And now they hang out all the time, and they rekindled their friendship. I didn't make that happen, but I created a space for these experiences to happen again and again. The ripple effects from this event have been so widespread. Reflecting back on it makes me cry, so if I cry during this, I'm sorry. My dad likes to say that yes, I went into business, but I also stepped into purpose. And I really resonate with that. Oh, we got a few more. This didn't restart, did it? This video? Wow. Okay. Fabulous. When I left the last Creative Mornings, I went to the new Subculture coffee shop. They'd been away from Delray for a few years, but they're back. They're on Federal and Lake Ida. It's a nice little coffee shop. And I walked in and I forgot I was wearing my name tag. And the man in front of me online turned around and we started chatting. He's here. Hi, Damien. And we started talking about Creative Mornings, and I said, I'm speaking next month. And I'm really nervous. And the nerves had already set in a month ago, so. Yeah, okay. He said to me, what you put out into the world reflects back onto you. And that was not how I was thinking of reflection. And it put it into a new light for me. And I love that. I love that so much. And later on, we'll talk about reflecting and how it's been a tool in my life through the things that I've gone through and all of that. But Coco Market started as a reflection of my heart and my soul. And I'll tell you a little bit about how I started it, how it began, and all the things that had to fall into place along the way. But when it first started, it was my vision that wasn't really mine. It feels like it came from something greater, you know, but it was my community and everybody that I knew and the small businesses. I had a list of 18 small business owners, and it really started out that way, but it quickly became a reflection of the whole community. And there's so many hands in it now. There's so many people involved. There's so many small businesses. We have a little online database where you can go and you can apply for Cocoa Market, and we started that about a year and a half into Cocoa Market. But just to show you a little bit about how widespread it is, we now have over 2,000 small businesses who have signed up to be part of our website because they're interested in Cocoa Market. So there's a lot of people's passions and ideas and love poured into this event, and that reflects back so widely. It's created such a mirror of this wellness community, and when you walk into the space, you get hit with it. It's palpable. That collective reflection is so contagious, and it just keeps drawing more and more people in. And Cocoa Market has really transformed into a mirror of that love and creativity and passion that everybody pours so much into it. I really set out to create a place for belonging, people searching for connection and meaning and home. And I set out to create a place that promotes healing and makes it really accessible. You don't have to pay anything to get in. You don't have to sign up to come. You just walk in and you're welcomed and you're home. And the real backbone of the whole event is supporting these entrepreneurs, these people in our community that are pouring their blood, their sweat, and their tears into their businesses. And it creates a reflection that is of such great magnitude. And if you've not been, I really encourage you to check it out because I'm biased, but it's really beautiful. I think it's really beautiful. So our lives are a reflection of our thoughts and our actions and our intentions, and what we put out into the world is reflected back at us. So thank you, Damien, for that thought. Oh, we got another video. Is it the same video? Okay, we'll skip it. You know the vibe. You get it. Actually, let's watch it again. I moved to Florida in 2014, and at that point in my life, and for a few years moving forward from there, I was floating with no direction and no real sense of drive at all. And it was fine. I was existing, I didn't really know any different. And my dad, he lives in New York, and he would fly to Florida every so often, and he would always say, "What's next? What are you going to do? What's the career goal?" I was working for an advertising agency putting car dealership commercials on radio. I was like, I don't know. It was just kind of a means to an end, and I never really thought about what I did for work like that was going to be my life. It was just what you do. And I had never really found anything that really set my soul on fire, and I don't know that I was searching for that. I was just floating. I was just existing. And I don't think that it was good, and I don't think that it was bad. It just was. After the advertising agency, I was working for a drug and alcohol treatment center. And I was helping people get to treatment, and it was fulfilling. But again, it wasn't like, this is my career, this is what I'm going to do. And during that job, I found yoga. And there was this hint of a spark of my soul lighting up when I did find yoga. And when I found it, I wasn't like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life as a career, but I was like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life to feel alive. So I'm working for the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. Oh, it didn't play. I'm so sorry. And they pick up and move to Tampa. And they're like, let's go. We're going to move to Tampa. And I have always loved Delray ever since I moved here. And I said, no, I'm not going to move to Delray. And this, just so you're on the same timeline, was 2019. 2019. They say, you got to move to Tampa. I say, no, thank you. And they said, okay, well, you might not have a job. So I think I'm going to get fired at this point. And I remember calling calling like a mentor, a really close trusted friend, and saying, I think I'm going to get fired. And she said, what would you do with your day if money didn't matter? And I said, I would do yoga. I didn't even think, I just knew. And she said, so why don't you sign up for a yoga teacher training? And I did not get fired, but I did sign up for a yoga teacher training. And I started that training in February of 2020. We were quickly on Zoom. I graduated from that teacher training and I was on fire. And I finally, for the first time in my life, felt like I had that drive and that direction. And I started creating a brand. And I don't know where that came from. It just happened. I knew immediately I wasn't going to be teaching at studios. I was going to build something. And I didn't know exactly what that looked like, but I started building it. And I have had some friends along the way really help me with that. I started teaching sunrise beach classes. There's someone in here that used to take those that I haven't seen in a long, long time. It's really nice to see here today. I started teaching beach classes in 2020, and as those were growing, I felt this need from people for connection and togetherness that I had never, ever felt. And I'm in recovery, and I understand the power of fellowship and togetherness and community, but this was different. In 2020, it was different, and people were staying after class, and they were meeting each other, and they were hanging out, and this sense of community was growing, and more people were coming to my classes, and I knew that I had to do something with it, and I knew it was going to be bigger. I knew I was destined for something bigger. So one thing about me is that I'm loud about what I do. I will tell everybody that I come across what I do. And that is something I attribute a lot of my initial success to. I would stand online for coffee and I would talk to the person behind me and invite them to my class. I was, getting an oil change, and I would invite the man behind the counter to my class. And everybody knew that I was teaching these beach classes and that they were welcome to them, and people started coming more and more. And I don't know if it was something about it being outside that it took the pressure off. It wasn't a studio, but anyway. I was meeting at this time a lot of healers, a lot of people who were starting new businesses, and I knew that I wanted to support them. So the feeling of togetherness that I felt was really palpable in my classes, and the small business owners that I was meeting, I wanted to create a space for all of that. And I knew it had to involve yoga because I thought it was going to be so good for my yoga brand when I created this event. So I named it Coco because Coco Yogi is my yoga brand. Coco Market, it just made sense. I was like, all the people that come to Coco Market are all going to start coming to my classes, and it's going to funnel into this. Anyway, that's not how it happened, but that's okay. I'm very grateful. I set out planning it, and I just started. I talked to everybody I know about my ideas, and I just kind of set it into motion. And thinking about reflection, I reflect back on this story quite a lot because everybody in my life knew what I was doing, and a lot of people watched me take an idea in my mind and do it. And I think, a lot of people have such amazing ideas, and I think that fear holds them back from actually doing it and actually starting. And the fact that I walked through that fear and I took that leap of faith, I think I watched inspire a lot of people I know to also do similar things, to create things out of nothing. And that's a big blessing that this has given me, to watch a lot of people I love be able to do similar things and walk through that too. My friend Pedro talks about taking messy action. Actually, the first Creative Mornings that I came to, he talked about that. You don't have to have all the pieces in place to start. You don't have to know exactly what it's going to look like. I believe really strongly if you have the intention and the heart and the determination and the courage to fail, you can do anything. So taking that messy action is the best thing that I ever did for myself. When you get through something really hard and you're thinking back on it and you're like, oh, that's why that happened. That's reflection. I see the hand of something greater in all of these struggles and heartaches and hardships that I've had, arranging the things in my life, even if they were really, really painful at the time, to bring me to something greater. The universe has protected me over and over and over again. Reflecting on the struggles and making it out on the other side has taught me faith, that everything is working out exactly as intended. That you are exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it's hard, even when it sucks, even when you don't understand it. I know that with every fiber of my being because of my journey and because of the reflection and because of the things that I have been through. A tool that I put into place a few years ago and has changed my entire makeup is, instead of asking myself, why is this happening to me? Asking myself, what is this teaching me? That flip of perspective is everything. I walked through life saying, why is this happening to me? For years. And when I can change it to what is this teaching me, I know there's a lesson in here. I know that it's going to bring me to something better. Everything shifts. And sometimes when I go through hard things and I feel like it's unfair, I shift back into why is this happening to me? But I have enough people in my life today to pull me back into what is this teaching me? And I can do it with gratitude. That's my dad at Cocoa Market, by the way, with me. I got a felony DUI in 2014. There was a routine traffic stop on the street that I lived on in Brooklyn. And it was my second DUI, and 2 DUIs within 3 years in New York is an automatic felony. And I thought my life was over. I now see the hand of something greater literally picking me up out of a really dark, really awful situation and bringing me to some place better. And my life began then. It didn't end, it began. But in the moment, I didn't understand it. And it took a while to be able to reflect back and say, oh. My sobriety date is October 26th, 2014. That's also the same date this year as Cocoa Fest. More info on that later. But I'll be 10 years sober next month. Thank you. It's another bright spot of my life. I went through a really public, really awful breakup in 2017. I was supposed to be married in 2 months at the time, and I lost everything. All of my money, all of my belongings. I had to tell everybody in my life that I was no longer getting married. It was really awful. And I know now that set me free. If anyone knows, I have a tattoo to show that. More on that on my Instagram if you're interested. But that experience taught me who I am, and it took my life onto an entirely different trajectory. And for that, I am so grateful. But at the time, I was like, how am I going to get through this? A more relevant example. When I was at my first Creative Mornings and Pedro was speaking on community, I looked at my phone, it was ringing, and it was the city of Delray Beach. And so I quietly excused myself, and I answered the phone, and the city of Delray Beach said, you can no longer hold Cocoa Market at Veterans Park. Veterans Park is where we started. That was our home, and I was obsessed with it. I loved it so much. And in that moment, I felt devastated. I felt like my world was ending. I worked my ass off to stay at Veterans Park for another 9 months. We got a petition with 3,000 signatures. We went to City Hall and we talked to the commissioners, and we fought so hard to stay. And now we've been at Old School Square for almost a year, and it is better. There's more room for vendors. There's free parking at the parking garage that you probably all parked in today. The DDA is an amazing partner and has supported me and Cocoa Market every step of the way. We're able to fit more people in, and it's just better. More eyes are on Cocoa Market, more people are drawn in because it's in the city center, and I felt like I knew what was right. And that's a speech for another time. But every hard time, every perceived tragedy, every heartbreak has led me here. And I would not trade any of that for anything. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. You know, they say that life can only be understood backwards, and the reflection allows me to acknowledge my triumphs and learn from my mistakes, and maybe most importantly, help others. I have been able to help through so many women who are going through similar breakups that I went through. I have been able to help so many people that can't stop drinking. Because I have taken the time to reflect back and learn the lessons, I am now able to be a conduit for that help, and that is something that I'm immensely grateful for. The reflection causes so much growth if you let it, if you are willing to take the time. I love this photo. This is at the Cocoa Market West Palm that we did last summer. We did 3 of those, and look at that big circle of people holding each other. I wanted to leave you with some tools, some tangible things that you can do to reflect. Gratitude, I think, is my favorite thing in the whole world. Gratitude is, if you can walk through life with a grateful heart, you will get back so much love, right? What you put out into the world reflects back onto you. Gratitude allows me to shift my perspective from why is this happening to what is this teaching me, from thank God this awful thing happened. It allows me to not take anything for granted. I am in a group chat with 5 women, and every morning we write our gratitude list. We write 5 things that we're grateful for, and sometimes I'm like, ugh. But reading theirs, even if I don't do it, I'm like, yeah, okay. It's really special, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's free, you know? Taking inventory is another one. And that's something that is more for the recovery world, but everyone could use it, and everyone could benefit from it. At night, when I get into bed, I ask myself, what did my day look like? What did I do great? What did I do not so great? What could I have done better? What did I add to life today? There's a question that I ask myself. What did I pack into the stream of life? You know, what did I do today to make the world a better place? And sometimes I'm like, absolutely nothing. And it's like, okay, try again tomorrow. And that's okay. Meditation is another one. I go to the sunrise. I probably mentioned that a few times. I'm loud about it. And I watch the pelicans coast. And I just let my mind go where it wants to go. Sometimes it's reflecting, and sometimes it's trying to just quiet the crazy, you know. Journaling is another one. When I go through something hard, I try to write it down, record my thoughts, how it happened. And then when I understand why it happened, I can look back and say, wow, yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea where this was going to take me, and it's so beautiful and it's so amazing. There is a Ben Folds song. I love him. And this song is called The Luckiest, and it is so tragic. And I cry every time I listen to it. And I love it so much. It's a love story about his partner dies, and God, it's sad. But what he says is, I know all the wrong turns and stumbles and falls brought me here. And I am the luckiest. So really similar to thank you for my perfect life. I encourage you to reflect. And I encourage you to put out into the world what you want reflected back onto you. I encourage you to ask yourself, what is this teaching me? And I encourage you to do it all with gratitude. I think that is all I have today for you, but I really appreciate you all listening to me. I hope you come to Cocoa Market. I've got some flyers. It's the first Sunday of every single month. It's free. It's beautiful. It's a nice place to come and reflect. And Cocoa Fest is the biggest event that we do. It's once a year. It's in Boca. That's coming up on October 26th. You can follow us on Instagram at cocoamarket.tribe. You can follow me on Instagram if you're interested at the Cocoa Yogi. Thank you for your time.